Morning, Arsene.
Morning.
Back from the international break, it was the international break that seemed to do Arsenal a bit of good in terms of the form of players like Jack Wilshere, Fred Jones and Welbeck, etc.
Yes, they have all come back in a decent shape. We still have some problems. I haven't seen Sanchez yet, because he landed yesterday afternoon. We have to check him this morning. Welbeck as well, had a little hamstring problem. And so we have a lot of people to check today.
But the performance of those England players in particular must have given them a confidence boost.
Yes, of course. I believe when people go away, have positive experiences, the club can benefit from it when they come back.
You mentioned yesterday that likely to be available, subject to you assessing their fitness. Any more news on that?
We had during the international break a good training week, so they will be available for selection today, both of them.
Good to have Giroud back after such a long time.
Of course, he's ahead of schedule. Honestly, at least 3 weeks. We planned him to be back in January, and he's not there yet, of course, on the competition front, but he's in a decent physical shape. He's a bit short, but he worked very hard to be early, back, and it worked.
And just finally from me, Arsenal man, you've always been one of the biggest games in the Premier League. Unusual going into this one that both sides are outside the top four.
Yes, but I'm not sure that will last. I'm even sure that will not last, But it's you look at the players on the pitch, it promises to be a great game. And you have to raise a little bit above the table and look at the quality of the players. And I think it's a very exciting game to watch.
Arsene, why is Olivier Giroud so far ahead of schedule? What's he done to be back this early?
Because the surgery went well, because he had no setbacks during his rehab, and because he's naturally a solid structure. He is very solid and heals very well, and he's a positive mentality, Olivier. He's always positive, and that helps as well.
Despite his sort of seniority as a senior striker within the Arsenal squad, based on the form of Danny Welbeck, does he face a bit of a fight to get himself back in the team when he is fully fit?
Look, there's always a fight because you have a lot of offensive options, but Daniel Welbeck can play in different positions up front, and I think there is in some games room for both of them, but of course it is a fight.
Do you think Danny has more respect as a footballer now that he's come here and the way he's played for you in the last few months, maybe silence some of the critics with his former performances?
I hope so, yes, and I personally believe I always respected Danny Welbeck, and I always felt that he has a great future. But what he has achieved in the last 3 months certainly has gained more respect, even for the English national team as well. He's now one of the main players in the English national team. He's shown that again in Scotland.
When he left Manchester United, Louis van Gaal explained it by kind of implying that he wasn't good enough. He said that he didn't have the goals record of Wayne Rooney and Robin van Persie. Did you sense that as a motivating factor in the player that you saw here for Arsenal?
Certainly, yes. You can take every challenge in a positive way. That's what he did. I believe as well you have to understand that Louis van Gaal had not Welbeck under his orders for a long time, and it's always very difficult to know the players well when you see them 3 or 4 weeks. But as well, Rooney and Van Persie have an exceptional goal-scoring record, and in front of him he had 2 top-quality players in goal-scoring record. What he needed is a chance.
Does this game still mean as much to you, despite the fact that it's not the top 2 teams in the country as it was for a long, long period?
Yes, of course. It is, I would say even more so, because two teams are running after a good record again, and to try to climb up the table in the Premier League, and both it makes a very important game.
And just lastly from me, has anyone else come back from England with any injury worries? Is there any fitness doubt for Theo or anyone like that?
Theo, yes. Theo has not could not practice yesterday. I don't think he will be available for tomorrow.
Arsene, and you just spoke there about the two sides and where they are, 6th versus 7th in the Premier League. Is that an indication of just where these teams are in terms of their form this season as well? League table's up and lies, we all know.
Look, apart from Chelsea, it's very tight, you know, and there's 27 games to be played, 11 games played. I think it's too early to make such an assessment.
And after the Swansea game, is it slightly frustrating that the whole most of the squad went away on international duty? I'm sure that was a game that you wanted to look at and address with the squad.
It was, but on the other hand, sometimes when you have a disappointment like that, it's not too bad that the players go away, have a different experience, and get a little bit away from that disappointment and come back with a positive experience.
And just back to Danny, you mentioned Giroud's coming back and Danny can play in different positions. Wasn't one of the main reasons he left United and came here was the fact that he could be his own man and be a main central striker? And if you're talking about possibly using him in other positions, doesn't that slightly defeat the objective of him being here?
I think one of the main reasons was he wanted to play.
As a central striker?
Look, we spoke about that, and I think one of the main reasons he came here was not a condition, it was that he plays. And I think you have goal scoring records are absolutely outstanding from people who play wide or central. That is not the problem. I think when you play, you want to play.
And finally, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, goal against Anderlecht, goal for England against Scotland. Do you want to see a lot more of that from him?
I would love to. And I believe what is good with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is that he is on moving game after game up, and he has gained a lot of confidence, takes people on, he can deliver final ball, he can score, and it's good for him to score, because I like the fact that he scored, of course, but as well the quality of his run to get in behind, because he has such a pace that it is important that he uses that in an intelligent way.
And Jack again played for England in more of a deeper position. Long term, is that something that perhaps you'd look to deploy him here?
You rule nothing out, because for me, midfielder is a guy who can defend and attack. So that means he can play in any position in midfield, a modern midfielder. He has balls in his locker. He can play tactically, he's very intelligent, Jack, he can play in that position. But as well, he's a big threat in the final third, so it's important that he doesn't lose that.
He's saying that that position is slightly restricting for him playing for England then?
Look, when you're a football player, as I told you for Welbeck, you play where you're needed in the team. If in England he's needed there, he plays there, but he can play in different positions, higher up front, maybe it's a bit more natural for him, but it's for his development, it's good as well to play in a deeper position.
Okay, James. Also, just to clarify, how likely is Danny Welbeck to be fit to play?
Look, that will depend on the medical assessment this morning of his hamstring.
That quote earlier about Louis van Gaal saying that he wasn't up to the standard of Robin and Wayne, is that your pre-match sort of team talk done for
Not
you?
at all, you know, you do not give too much importance to that. Rooney is 29, Van Persie 31, and Welbeck is a young player. You can understand, I can understand that completely. What is important is that the player makes a good career and gets an opportunity.
Just look at the head-to-head record. You've won only one of the last 14 games against United. I mean, do you think that the team has some kind of mental block, a mental issue?
No, I think Man United, we played a lot of draws, and we lost recently a lot at Old Trafford. I don't think we lost a lot at home, but we had many draws. They were always chasing recently for the championships for a period where we did not, but there's no block there. It's just, I think it's an opportunity for us. We feel strong at home, we feel strong at the Emirates, and we have a good record in the recent 25 games or 24 games, so let's just continue that.
And just finally, a bit out of left field this one, but there was a biography recently published of Lionel Messi, which it was said that you were very, very close to signing him as a teenager, but
It's true.
the deal fell down because you refused to buy a flat thing for his parents. Could you tell us about that story, about how close that came?
I refused nothing. But it was just, I think in the end, he was not so keen to move, because it was at the period where Fabregas came, because Fabregas and Messi played together in the same team, and he wanted to take and Fabregas and Messi and Piqué, and it worked only for Fabregas. It was not completely down to a flat in the end, it was down to the fact that in the end Messi was comfortable at Barcelona.
Yep. Can you just get, is Theo's injury related to his knee, or is it a different one?
No, a little tight groin.
You've got now with you talked about Welbeck, Giroud, you've got Podolski, Sanchez, Walcott. All of these guys, they all want to play straight down the middle, but you haven't got room for all of them, so someone's going to have to. So how do you manage that?
Always the same, we can only select 11 players. Our job is about selection, and we have abundance of offensive players at the moment, and some of course do not get a chance to play, and it's frustrating for them, what I can understand, but unfortunately you can always have to, at the end of the day, make a decision on that front.
Going forwards, Arsenal have all this firepower, but defensively there seems to be still some work to do. Have you got that settled out? Because the Monreal experiment didn't really work very well, did it?
Look, we lost experience, we lost two players with experience, Debuchy and Koscielny. But if you look well, I think as a unit, I want to give credit to my team for defending well, because we are in the top two teams in the speed to win the ball back. We are the team who allows less than anybody else. Teams getting into their final third, but where we have to be more clinical, I agree with you, is in the chances we give away. We give very few away, but we have to be a bit more clinical in that.
Roy Hodgson has said he'll be very happy for any senior players who are eligible to go with the under-21s next summer. Possible couple of Arsenal players, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Callum Chambers. How would you feel about both of them getting tournament experience next summer?
It depends. If Roy Hodgson wants to do well at the European Championship, I don't think it's in his interest to overload the players during the summer preceding the European Championship. Because European under-21 finishes on 18th of June, something like that. The training starts beginning of July. Then you count 50 to 55 games and go to the European Championship without any holiday. I don't think that's ideal for the preparation of the English European campaign.
So would you suggest you wouldn't want them to go? Would it be a choice for them, or would you say, come on, Roy?
Come on, Roy.
Awesome.
I'll be quite good on that.
Awesome. Wayne Rooney's now just 3 goals off becoming England's all-time leading goal scorer. Do you think the captaincy has, in a way, rejuvenated him?
Look, I personally believe that Wayne Rooney is a centre forward, and he played in that role on Tuesday night, and he did very well. I'm not surprised, because I think he made his debut against us and scored a goal against David Seaman when he was 16 years of age, and that day I came out and said this guy will make an exceptional career. He has all you want from a top class player. works hard, committed, classy, understands the game, and that's why maybe because he works so hard he played in different positions. But I'm not surprised.
People say, rightly or wrongly, is he world class? Is he world class in your opinion?
For me, yes.
Okay, guys, thank you for these folks coming. Thank you.